Hello, I'm Coach Raquel, and I just want to comment on an image that I see circulating. Hello. I'm Coach Raquel, of course, and this is not Refresh, Relax, Renew. Haven't been recording for a little while, but I saw this image circulating, and I feel led to say something. So I'm going to say something. So something about this doesn't sit right with me. And I think we need to talk about it honestly because what we're looking at is bigger than one image. Now, the image you're seeing on my screen is not the precise image that's been circulated, but I did not want to add to the circulation of that image. I didn't want to, I want to talk about it, but I didn't want to play a part in spreading such an ugly um, image, and I think dangerously ugly image, right? It's a reflection of a culture where sexuality is often used as a tool to gain attention, power, influence, but in the process, something deeper gets lost. Femininity becomes reduced. Identity gets flattened to image and real connection gets replaced with performance. And then on the other side, we see a version of masculinity that's measured by access, visibility, and status instead of responsibility, discipline, and integrity. Because today I'm not focusing on the woman at all. I think enough of that has been done. But there's a part that really challenges me. How does something like this get created? Who decides to sit down and sacrifice their spirituality, mentality, and well-being to create, to put together, to thread such an image, then share it, publish it on the internet? How does something like this get created, shared, and normalized? Because it doesn't just appear. It reflects what we're willing to consume and willing to do, what we're willing to laugh at, what we're willing to overlook. And if we're being honest, sometimes our outrage is inconsistent. We speak loudly when something feels distant, but when it's tied to culture, entertainment, or influence, we get quieter. So maybe the real issue isn't just individuals. Maybe it's the standards we apply or don't apply consistently. Because culture doesn't just shape us, we shape it with what we celebrate, with what we tolerate, with what we create, with what we choose to challenge. So the question is, what kind of culture are we building? And does it actually reflect the values we say we stand for? Because at some point, we have to stop reacting and start taking responsibility for what we are reinforcing. Before we even debate opinions, let's look at the facts. According to the United Nations, women, one in three, the United Nations women, 1 in 3 women globally will experience physical or sexual violence in their lifetime. And this image right here, that is sexual violence against a young lady. It was directed towards the artist Megan Thee Stallion. How disrespectful, how dishonoring of self. This dishonors the person who created it more than it dishonors Megan, because this is not who Megan is. She knows who she is, and God knows who she is. She's not the one represented in this image. The thought of the creator, the one who created this, The people who perpetuate this, it's your thoughts that it represents, not the other person. According to the United Nations Women, 1 in 3 women globally will experience physical or sexual violence in their lifetime. The World Health Organization confirms that intimate partner violence is the most common form, affecting over 640 million women worldwide. And here's what should stop us in our tracks. Data from the United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime shows that more than half of women killed globally are killed by someone they know, often a partner or family member. So when we see images, conversations, or cultural patterns that reduce, objectify, or normalize harm toward women, it's not abstract. This is connected to a real, measurable crisis. So the question isn't just what are we looking at? It's what are we reinforcing? We don't just inherit culture, we participate in it. Now everybody got mad, and we every time something happens, we get moral and Epstein this and Epstein that. But it seems to me that Epstein matches very well with world standards. In fact, Epstein is world standards, that someone could think of putting something out there like this. What's going on in the mind? Yet we talk about standards, right? We talk about standards. Where is the masculine outrage for this? You're the leaders. The men are still in charge, right? The men are still leading. I'm not blaming the men either, because this is not about blame. It's about accountability. It's about responsibility. It's about culture. It's about what are we doing? Now, I want to credit a man of God who I've been blessed to have met, to know, who, even before I saw this image yesterday, spoke the kind of life into me that had me create or generate this image that you're now looking at. The mind of a leader, a head of household. I had no idea that today I was going to get up and talk about another image. But I'm so happy that I would have gotten this before I even saw that image. The mind of a leader and head of household. And here are some information, Bible-related information that we can look at, and perhaps, or maybe, transform our minds or thinking, elevate our thinking, our culture, to reflect the values that we claim to uphold. The mind of a regular man thinks short term, reacts to circumstances, his mind is focused on himself, seeks excuses, chases money and status, consumes and wastes time, led by pride, no legacy mindset. A regular man leaves chaos, confusion, and burdens. That image that was circulated, and I'm not saying it was created by a man, but we're still in a society led by man, headed by man, and it has managed to make its rounds on the internet. The mind of a leader and head thinks eternally, responds with wisdom, focuses on his household, takes responsibility, seeks wisdom first, builds and invests time. Led by humility, builds legacy. A leader leaves order, provision, and protection. Where's the protection is that in that image? Where's the protection of the woman in that image? If I were one of those men mentioned mentioned in that image, Man, I'll be out here advocating for that woman. And I'll be asking for forgiveness that anything I participate in could lead to this, could produce this. See, they didn't say she had how many marriages, but men are the leaders, right? How many of them married the woman that they're lining up to have sex with? So how are you leading? This is not a blame game. And I know this is a female voice talking, but it's not even a critique. It's more confusion. And I'm thankful to God that I've met men who are clearly seeking to serve God. I've never been married, so I still can't say I've met a kingdom man yet until I get married to be able to say, yeah, I've met a kingdom man. I haven't met one yet. Or maybe I've met them, but that has not been fulfilled. I don't know, but I've met some really good men, you know? And I cannot say anything bad about a man because I've never met a horrible man. I've never met a user. I've never met none of that. Now, for us women, yeah, I just want you women to know women matter. We matter. Our feelings matter. Our reputation matter. We matter. And there's nothing ugly about sex because God created it. And no one can judge you for living your life the best way you know how. Because, you know, for all those men they showed lining up, how many women, if it was the man that was being featured, how many women have been in the line for it? How many sofas should be represented behind each of these men? For each of these men, how many sofa with a woman on it should be lined up in front of him? All those women that he's gone through. We're talking about how many men she took. How many women have he exhausted but never married, though he's the leader? How many more sofas should go behind that woman with women on it? How many sofas? How many women lay before him? Kings remain tall while queens fall. The mind of a godly wife and helper to her husband, she builds her home with wisdom, strength, and grace. Does she create the home? Is she supposed to create her own home? Or is it that the man is supposed to create a home and in that home she builds a home? I'm confused. I'm not criticizing, I'm confused. Because if women are just being bent over on sofas and fucked, then left, I'm not quite sure what she's supposed to do thereafter. I'm just confused. Anyway, the mind of the regular woman focused on herself, seeks attention, competes and envies, emotion-driven, focused on material things, speaks carelessly, independent spirit, wastes time, brings strife, thinks short-term. The mind of a good wife, the mind of the godly wife, focused on God, her husband, and her home, seeks God first, honors and respects her husband, builds her home, values inner beauty, speaks life, submissive and teachable, wise with her time, brings peace, thinks long term. A godly woman is her husband's crown of glory, but a shameful wife is like decay in his bones. Who is choosing here? Isn't it a man who makes a wife? Isn't it a man who proposes? We're in a society that says the man chooses a wife, right? But it's the woman who is getting fucked. I don't know. I'm just confused. I'm confused. I'm Coach Raquel. Have a great day.
Today, I want to help you think differently about your business. Many entrepreneurs still believe they need a physical office and large team. Your website is your digital headquarters where customers interact with you. Think of your website as the new front desk for customer interactions. Leadership needs to communicate vision and direction in a digital organization. Let's build systems that serve people while making your organization sustainable. Explore how our ecosystem works at mycoachministry.com/ecosystem.